Welcome to the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show.
To go to another level, you must try to learn and hear something new. So make a change today. So don't procrastinate and see your business grow and change. So check out Drastic Results, yeah, with Tony Harris Taylor. Tony Harris Taylor. Drastic Results, oh yeah, with Tony Harris Taylor. Yeah, yeah.
Welcome to the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show. And we're here with another fabulous episode with an amazing guest today, Mr. Ugo Eziefule. Oh boy, I hope I did that right. I've known Ugo for many months now, and I think I got it right. So, hey, Ugo, how are you?
I'm doing fabulous this morning, Tony. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. You know, my technology won't let me do my normal format today because I'm doing this from home, where I normally would do an opening and talk about something drastic. But today we're going to talk about networking for introverts. But before we get into that, I really want to talk to you, Ugo. First of all, thank you for being a client. Ugo is a Network in Action member. He's one of my most engaged members, and I really want to thank you for that. So, in your own words, why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? Because this is an international show.
Okay.
And tell everybody what you want them to know.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Ugo Eziefule. I am here in Houston, Texas. Not born but raised. It's a hometown for me. Everything H-town. But I am a business owner / entrepreneur, whatever you might be. I own a few businesses, home health care to e-commerce, and to funding at some points where, I find different things like that. So basically, born in Nigerian, born in Nigeria. But the reason I have no accent is because when I was 5 months old, I was brought here to the States, and then I grew up here. So grew up here, went to school, went to college at Texas State University, class of 08, and actually did a few years of medical school in Fort Worth, Texas College of Osteopathic Medicine in Fort Worth. So after a couple of years of that, I'm not a doctor because I didn't finish, it wasn't my path at that point. So, after that, I left trying to find my path, and I found my path was business, right? Helping others in another way. I always wanted to help others. But I found that there are many ways to help others, and this is the way I help others through my business ventures and other things. So
awesome. Well, I know when you quit med school, Mama had something to say about that.
She, as many African parents know, it's very jarring, to say the least.
You got to be an African parent, an African child to know that, well, because it is, right? And so I remember the story you told me, going to medical school was your family's dream for you, but you really had to follow your passion, which is drastic. So how did you find it within you to not do what other people wanted you to do, but really go out and make it your own, and to become an entrepreneur, which there are no results in entrepreneurship immediately. And I know your parents were like, huh? Like the little puppy, huh?
Well, it's funny. I feel somewhat that going to school and medical school was kind of lessons for entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because, as you said, there's no immediate results with entrepreneurship. It takes time. It's the same thing with medical school, right? You go through 4 years of undergrad. You get to school. I had a minor in biochemistry, and that minor in biochemistry, I relearned the minor in biochemistry in my first 6 weeks of medical school. That's how much information. When they say going to medical school is like drinking out of a fire hydrant, that's what they mean, right? That's how much information was given to me in that time. So it's one of those where there's a lot of things thrown at you, a lot of stress, things are going on, but that once you get past it, that you're not a doctor then. You take this test, you're not officially a doctor. There's many steps and obstacles to get there, just like with being an entrepreneurship. You know, once this obstacle's over, there's another one, there's another one. You're a problem solver. That's literally the definition of entrepreneur is problem solver. So I think going to medical school, I do not regret one bit going to medical school, right? I met so many great people there. I made so many good connections, learned so many great lessons going to medical school there. And I think it's actually made me who I am today and kind of molded me on the direction on what I go with my businesses. And the courage it took to step away, it's one of those where it's people have different pain thresholds per se. And my pain threshold was I asked too many questions, and I am a results type of person, meaning the task will get done, but how it gets done might not be how it usually in that, way, right? I'm a believer in systems. Systems are good. Systems are put in place to have, replicatable results. But it's one of those where if I were in a 9-to-5 job, which people that are 9-to-5, great, love them, we need them. But I might ask many questions, show up at 3, leave at 6, but the results at the end of the week will still be there. So it's one of those, I liked getting results for things in my own way, and the 9-to-5 might have not been the best fit for me. Hence, starting the entrepreneurship, I wouldn't say fell into it, because even in college, I had like a t-shirt printing business. I partnered with someone, so I made t-shirts for organizations. So I always had somewhat of a knack for it kind of thing. But when I really started after college, getting into entrepreneurship and owning a business, I kind of fell into it. Family business, where my mother, she had this business, but here's the thing. She's a great mother. She's a great nurse, not the best business person, right? So when I thought I would just help her out here and there, it turned out to me running the business while she did the nursing part of it. It was a home health care agency that she had, right? So once I did that almost pretty much for a decade, and I realized that the certain things that did work and didn't work. So once she retired and wound down her home health agency, I started up my own and put in the things that I liked, took out the things I didn't like, and I've been going there ever since.
So let's dig a little deeper on that. What's the name of your home health agency? And you have a unique spin on yours, but what's the name of it?
Yes. So my agency is called Providers of Texas, right? I started, it works with the state, so it's a long drawn out process, but for all intents and purposes, operation started in February of 2022. So basically what it is that a lot of people, whether it be young or old, might have family members or know people that they're at home, that they need help with doing stuff at home. Sometimes children help out their older parents, some cooking, cleaning kind of stuff, or doing some stuff around the house, right? So a lot of the times when they do that, what they might not know is that parent or that individual might be eligible for Medicaid services, right? So what it is that if the person is qualified for Medicaid, so Medicaid, Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare is age, Medicaid is income and disability, right? So if they qualify for Medicaid, they might be eligible for what we call community attendant services, right? Which, providers, which someone can come to their home and help them out with activities of daily living, right? So what activities of daily living are: cooking, cleaning, getting dressed, brushing your hair, teeth, kind of thing like that. Shopping for them, maybe when they go to the doctor, escorting them when they go to the doctor, things like that, right? Nothing medical, not like sticking needles or taking temperatures or anything, but just non-medical things that they need with helping out in their home. So my whole approach, or what I like to do anyways, is that but a lot of the times, family members are doing this because they're family. That's your family. You're supposed to do it, or in my opinion, you're supposed to do it. So then I approach them and say, like, you've been doing this anyways, would you like to get paid to do it now? That's my caveat of like, okay, oh wow, I'm doing this anyways, I can get paid to do this. Yes, if your loved one qualifies and go through all the structures, then they need an attendant. You could be that attendant because it's specialized. You don't need a degree or a certificate. It's non-specialized, that you can help out that loved one. If they don't have someone for them, we provide someone for them, right? And the state of Texas reimburses us for paying them. So as you can see, is at no cost to the client. There's no deductible or out of pocket or any type of expense. It is all free for them because they qualify for the Medicaid program. So it is paid for by the state.
All right. So he gave us a lot. So I'm going to
Yes.
bring it way down. If you are a caregiver and your parent, aunt, uncle, grandparent qualifies for Medicaid in Texas, then they can pay you to be that caregiver. So, what is it, just in a nutshell? What's the income threshold for Medicaid in Texas?
A lot of times it changes all the time, but I
Yeah.
believe the income threshold for Medicaid in Texas, they said the last formula was about like, I think it was like 18,000, I believe, yearly, or
Okay.
somewhere around that, between
Okay.
16 and 22. I know
Okay.
it's kind of a large range, but it's actually on their website that they specify that it changes up
Okay.
every, things like that.
So you
But
can Google that. Texas
yes, and
Medicaid
also what I
policy.
do with clients is if they're not sure whether they qualify or not, I will walk them through the process, because it is a process, right?
Sure.
I'll walk them through, get them to the website, get them signed up, have their information, have them see if they qualify for Medicaid. If they do qualify for Medicaid, then move forward. If they don't, there are other options for them where I can direct them to that, if there are other options for them if they don't qualify for Medicaid.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so that's business number one. Business number two,
Yes.
e-commerce. Let's talk about that.
Yes. So I have a YoE group, specifically. I have a e-commerce. What I do is I'm a business consultant, and that's a large nebulous umbrella, but for good reason. What I basically do is I help business owners and individuals save money on the costs or expenses they already have, and if they're interested, or if there's an avenue that they want to explore, actually facilitate them getting paid for the bills that they're already paying for. So what that means is that, as a business owner, usually if you have a brick and mortar somewhere, right? You have energy, you have the internet, which we're using right now. You have a cell phone service. You have even healthcare expenses that you might have, right? What we do is that we look to see what you have. Also, credit card processing. You got to take money somehow, online, in person, all that. When you use those services, these are services that you pay for every month. Your business cannot operate without these services. So what we do is we look to see if there's a cost savings there for you to use the services through me. And it's not a matter of like, Ugo and Sons kind of thing. We work with major companies like T-Mobile, AT&T, DirecTV Stream, Vivint. We work with major companies, but because I'm an affiliate for them, they're able to get discounted prices, specials, and preferential pricing sometimes. Not only that, if they're interested, again, for business owners and individuals as well, like I said, you can use it as a stream of income for yourself. Okay. So whenever you pay these bills every month, these are bills that you have to pay, there is an opportunity for you to get paid every month when these bills are a percentage of those bills paying billed every month. And not just your bills, right? If you know other people that would love to save money on their bills, right? You can help them save money. And because you showed them how to save money on those bills, you're able to get a percentage of the spend of that bill every month, if that's something you're interested in. And I'd love to sit down and talk and explain more about with people that might be interested. So
awesome, wonderful. So, and then a funding business?
Yes. So with that, I partnered with a former mergers and acquisitions gentleman. His name is Mr. William Wagner. And what he does, he works with major hedge funds, or has connections to these hedge funds, where he has access to programs that not many people would have access to, right? So what these programs are standard banking letters of credit, SBLCs, right? So what they do is they partner with major banks like Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, HBSC, major banks. So what they do is they look for people that are either qualified investors or businesses that have liquid capital. And what they do is, depending on the program that's available, for example, we have a program right now that is a 10x multiplier program. What that means is that the minimum to get into the program, right, is $1 million. Okay. So if you have $1 million within 120 banking days through these major banks, the FDIC, the SEC, everyone's involved, everyone's vetted, everyone knows about it, right?
Sure.
Once they participate in these programs, they use these funds and they put them on the trading table, and they're traded with these funds. At the end of 120 banking days, right? Those funds that were put in, the person who put in the funds or company would now get a 10x return. So if you put in 1 million, you'd get 10 million out after 120 days, right? And again, I always stress this to people: it's an investment, so capital gains taxes. You have to be, cognizant of that. So that's what we do for businesses and individuals if they're interested in that. So we're finding qualified individuals, qualified businesses that might be interested in things like that for a project they might need, maybe expansion of a factory or facility, or expanding of their business into new territories and things like that.
All right, so that's a lot, right? And here's what right. So here's what I always say: if you want to know more about Ugo and what he does, schedule a one-to-one with him. And he is awesome. I love him, his energy. And what I love about Ugo the most is he is a connector of people, as I am. And so schedule a one-to-one. If any of his top 3 things appeal to you, to learn more about, and it's not a sales call, it's a relationship building call. And then you figure out where you go from there. So on that note, let's talk about networking, sir.
Okay.
When I first met you, our first Zoom call, and I met you through a mutual friend.
Yes.
You said, I'm an introvert. Well, you guys, every introvert in my group will talk your head off. Every one of them. But you told me that you were such an introvert, you could not even, you would show up and you would just not. So how do you go from there to where you are now, being a introvert, a situational extrovert, and give some encouragement to those who are in that head noise space about getting themselves out there?
So if I were to have a time machine and go into the past to, like, I would say 2014, 2015 Ugo, and tell him, you will be networking, you will be on online shows, you will be doing this, you'll be doing all this other stuff, he would come to me and say, you're an alien, let me rip off your face because you're not real. That's not who I am. I was the person, and still kind of am, but I was the person who literally, after a day of work, go home, watch Netflix, anime, until like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then I'm done. Repeat, rinse, repeat the next day kind of thing. But it came to a point, and through starting a business, right? When you're on your own, right? When you don't have someone else to depend on you, or to kind of like that, you realize that there's certain things you have to do to get to places where you want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I knew I didn't want to work for someone, punch a clock, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew if I had to do that, I had to have my own business.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew if I had to have my own business, means I'd have to get my own connections and things like that. And I don't like the convention of selling, right? That's why I remember being younger, and I remember after my transition from medical school, there was a time where, I wasn't doing much. I remember I said, I don't want to do sales because I don't want to convince people. I can't convince people. I just don't like, because it seems like coercion or something like that. So what I realized while doing a business and hanging out with like-minded business owners like myself, like, you, Tony, I realized that in the world, some of the biggest deals ever made, and, large scale, small scale, are simply because of relationships. They're simply because I know that guy. It's literally where, hey, you do this, right? Hey, come do this. Well, it costs, don't worry about the cost. Just do it, right? It can be a little bit more expensive, a little bit less expensive, but because of that relationship, people do business with people. So once I realized that, and trust me, I tried every other avenue. Was it this? Can I do a trick? Is there a key phrase I can use? Is there that? No. It takes work to build the relationship in order to get that business. So
that's why the word is network.
Yes.
That work in the middle is everything that will bring you the business you need, but it takes time. And people want instant gratification from relationships, and that's where most entrepreneurs miss the mark.
And I
So
was like that.
mouthful. Okay.
I was like, business is transactional. That makes sense. Business transaction, transactional. So I'm like, I do this, you do this, let's do transaction, and never speak again. Not realizing that it doesn't work that way. Like maybe 1 out of 20 times that works, but most of the time it doesn't work that way. And you have to, like Tony says, put the work in, which means I have to, it's weird. Like people, random business people don't just come to my house and give me business. I actually have to go out and talk with people, make relationships with people. I know a lot of the business that I've got, whether, sometimes the state will just send me something, but that's one here and there. But a lot of the times whenever making relationships with people, it's not them that you're doing business with.
Right.
It's someone that they know. It might even not be someone that they know. It might be someone that they know that knew someone that heard someone at someone's church and said, hey, don't you know that guy who does that thing?
Yeah.
And you want to be that guy or gal that does that thing. So when
thing.
you're that guy or that gal that does that thing, you introduce yourself, you tell them what you do, just what you're about. And then from there, they're like, okay, trust is open. And what I found is, marketing, there's degrees in marketing. There's all these marketing things like that. But the best marketing, the billboards you have is other people. Because they won't shut up about you.
That's right.
Something good for them. Oh man.
Yeah.
Did this, and then the best phone call you could ever get is from a number you don't know.
Yeah.
Says, hey Ugo, do you still do that services thing, or do you still home health care? Do you still know that guy? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do. Let's set up a time to talk. Those are the best phone calls because you know that the work you put in those relationships is bearing fruit.
You said it. But as an introvert, what did you do to get yourself out of your head and out into the world? Once you realize that was true, and most introverts know it's true, subconscious, or they know consciously it's true. That's a theory. How did you push past your own head noise?
So what I found actually is the reason most introverts, I can't speak for all, but most introverts, the reason they're introverted is because they haven't found something they're excited about, right?
Ooh.
So a lot of times if I go to a party or something like that, a lot of people are talking about, fashion or some other things. But let's say they started talking about the Texans, Houston Texans, my football team right now. But let's say they started talking about them.
Yeah, right now.
Or they started talking about comics or superheroes, right? I would get in depth in that conversation where I would forget everything else around me, and I'd be honed in on that conversation there about what's going on, who's better in this, and things like that, right? So what I found is that when you go out there, it's kind of finding your own tribe. Now, does that mean you got to find the comic book nerd, the sports fan there? No, but just by talking with people, you might not know what a huge fan they were. For example, one in our NIA network, Mr. Andre Canio with US Health, great when it comes to healthcare and things like that, helps out so many different people. Huge Star Wars fan. So talked with him, recommended some shows. He recommended some shows for me. We're talking all the time. He's given me great referrals. I've given him, hopefully, some good referrals as well. But it's one of those where when you find people that are in your zone and you're passionate about something, you're able to break out of that shell when you
right.
find something. And you have to understand also when you're passionate about something is when introverts go out, at least me anyways, when introverts go out and do these things, right?
Right.
It's like exercising, right? Where you're exercising your social bone and everything like that. Once you're done, if you don't hear from the person for 2 days, it's okay. They're spent. They need to go in, they need to curl up, they need to binge something, or they just need to keep to themselves to recharge their batteries, right?
Absolutely.
And then once their batteries are recharged, they're going to go out again type of things, right? It is literally, it is physically exhausting. Some people, they get energy from the crowd. Others, it takes it from them kind of thing. With a lot of introverts, you can take it from them, and that's okay. They just need to get re-energized.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. That was really a great word. So introverts, you got to get out of your head. This is something I say all the time. You got to get out of your head and into your heart, because as long as it's about you, the people you're meant to serve and help aren't getting the help they need. So you really have to transfer your head noise over to, hey, I got to get myself out there because I got people to serve. I got people to love on, people to help. People need me. And as long as I'm thinking about me, it's not happening.
And I
So,
love you said that too. I love that you said that, because that was another big transition for me. I gotta get this sale. I gotta pay these bills. I gotta get this client. And it's funny, like, and you try and you push, and it's like when you're looking for your keys, right?
mhm,
When you look for your keys, you'll never find them. The
right,
minute you stop looking, they're just gonna pop out of nowhere.
right,
It's the same thing when it comes to business and things. That's why, I did go to medical school, which means I always had an intent, what it might be, to help others, right? I
right.
liked solving problems to help others. It was a lot of times medical problems, right? But with business, you try to, whenever I talk with someone, I always ask them, what do you do and how can I help you? Right?
Absolutely.
I may not be able to help you. Sometimes someone's all like, oh man, I make rockets. Well, I can't use a rocket, but I know someone that does aviation stuff. They might know someone who could use a rocket type of thing. You don't know, right? And when you
That's right.
go out and try to help others, I feel the universe finds a way to help you. I think. I don't know. It could be too, but me,
You
I think
are
others,
absolutely
the universe finds
right.
a way to help you.
Absolutely right. So excellent, excellent, excellent conversation, Ugo. You have been a joy to have in my family. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with you at some Nigerian event where I have to dress up.
Oh
And
yeah. So yeah, I'll ask either. Yeah, I got my connections. I'll give you a heads up because it's one of those you got to prepare to go to those. So we'll
I
see.
know, I know. So I'm looking forward to that. And I just want to let everybody know that Ugo is the man. He's a connector of people. Just call in, get on his calendar, spend 30 minutes with him. He is going to introduce you to somebody. I promise, because that's who he is. And then, of course, big things can happen when you show up. So thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time. I appreciate you so much, sir. And stay connected.
Of course,
Any
thank you so
final
much, Tony.
words?
You are definitely a blessing to everyone. I mean, I've just met so many different people, learned so much from you, kind of thing. Even if it's just a one-on-one over Zoom, just 5 minutes with you. No, it's definitely been a treat and a pleasure and an honor to get to know you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, everybody. This is Tony Harris Taylor saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow. See you next week. Bye.
With Tony Harris,